Welcome back to SQL Made Simple. And today is day 9. We are mastering the sum function and coalesce function. And the resource for this lesson can be downloaded from this website, bit.ly. It's case sensitive SQL Made Simple. You'll find a sales DB underscore aggregate. So if you don't have it, you need to download it and run it in your SQL Express server. So what is sum? Sum adds up all numeric values in a column and returns a total. It's like the total row in Excel, perfect for sales, quantities, or hours worked. It automatically ignores null or empty values, so missing data doesn't break your calculations. And we'll be using the Ghanaian sales DB aggregate database, which contains customer orders. Some rows have missing quantities or prices, which will help us see how some handles real world data. Now let's get into practice. Okay, so first of all, we'll need to analyze our data set, see what's in there for us. So I'm going to copy this, then I'll run it. So once we run, this is what we're going to get. So we have order ID, customer name, product, quantity, price per unit, and order date. So if you want to find a sales amount, and because we are dealing with quantity and price, in this situation, if you want to know the total sales amount, it's always the price times the quantity. So we multiply this by that, this by that, this by that. So we get to Ifo and Ponsa. Then we will do a total sum, and this can be done in SQL by using the sum. So we are summing quantity filled by the price per unit filled. And we will need to alias it as total sales if you so desire. Now let's run it. Execute, and we get 7,200 cedis. So this multiplies the quantity by the unit price for each order, then sums them all. And that is what we will get for this. Now I want us to look at the total quantity sold. So let's take a look at our data set again. Going to run it. So if it's total quantity sold, then we just need to add up this column. So how do we do that? We're using the sum. So sum, and we are only dealing with quantity. Okay, so quantity filled, alias it as total quantity. Now let's run it. Execute, then we get 21 in total. So this gives the total number of items sold across all orders. Now let's see how we can filter. We look for the total revenue for laptop. So we're going to bring in our where clause. So try and go back to what we've done previously, and let's see how we can apply that. Okay, so let's check. Execute. So you want the total revenue for what? Laptop. So if it's total revenue for laptop, we know that revenue is always what? Price. So in our case, quantity filled multiplying the price per unit. So once we do that, we need to sum that. So sum as laptop revenue. Okay. we only want for laptop. So we include a where clause where the product field is equal to laptop. So we are just narrowing it down to just laptop. So we've got laptop here, laptop there. Now let's run it. Execute. I'll get 2,700. Does that make sense? Well done. Now let's look at total revenue by product. Total revenue by product, and we'll be dealing with the group by statement. Total revenue by product. So let's check first. So if you want the total revenue, you will need a product field. Okay. So I'll need my product field first, and I will need the sum of the quantity multiplying the price per unit field, and you say as total revenue. Okay. Then we need to group by the product column or product field, the field after the aggregate function. So this is what we have. Then I'll execute. So this is what we will get when we do this. But we haven't now in this. And this is something we need to work on with a coalesce function. So I'm going to jump back into my slide and explain what we mean by coalesce. So it is pronounced like this, coalesce, and it brings values together so there is less missing data. What it does is it returns the first non-value in a list. Yeah. Then useful for some to avoid null totals. So the memory trick is coalesce, combine, and fill missing values. So with the coalesce, we have an expression, then the value. So the value can be you put in 0 or 1 or 2, returns the first non-word value. And if the sum returns null, coalesce can replace it with 0 or any default value you choose. So let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so if we use the same statement where we are looking for the product sum as total revenue, but we don't want to see now, we want to see 0. So all we do is sum, then we enclose it in a coalesce. 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 So the coalesce. So there's our first expression. Then what value are we replacing? In case we have a null, then we enclose that. Now let's run it, execute. So instead of a null, we are getting a 0 here. So this is how you use the coalesce to replace nulls with 0, which ensures that every product has a total even when some data is missing. So that's how it works. Well done. Well done. Well done. And I'll need you to keep practicing. Keep practicing. Okay? So let's look at our workplace tips. In business reporting, always wrap sum in coalesce when filtering or grouping. This prevents nulls from showing in reports and ensures management sees accurate totals. It's especially useful in dashboards, financial summaries, or sales KPIs. Okay, so I just want to challenge you. Find the total revenue for Bluetooth speakers, and I also want you to find the total revenue for orders on 2025-08-03. And I also want you to look for the total revenue per order date, a total revenue per order date. So the sum and coalesce fast totals with missing data safety. So tomorrow, day 10, we will learn our average, AVG, to calculate averages for deeper insight. Do well to subscribe and share this with anyone who is trying to get his feet into the data analytics world. Blessings.